And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Today we're looking at A Way with Words. This is a word game that on a first look you'll say, oh, that's another Scrabble clone. It's really not like Scrabble. There's colors involved and words can go forwards or backwards or up or down. You don't have to form words, and there's two games in one, a speed game and a normal game. Let's take a look. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, here you see the board, and what players are going to be doing is they're going to be playing to a predetermined number of points, or you can play till all the chips are out of this bag, which really is too small for all the chips, but anyway. Each player is given a color, and if you can't tell the colors apart, you might notice that each of them has like a little marking on the side or the bottom or the top, so you can tell the different colors apart, because color does matter. But players are going to be putting out various vowels at the beginning of the game, A, E, I, O, and U, and then players will begin. On a player's turn, they have three chits in their hand, three tokens with different letters and different colors. White is essentially no color. And so on your turn, you are going to put a letter out on the board. And does that form a word? Well, here it happens to form a word, but the word has to be three letters or more for you to score any points. So maybe next time I can put out an M here, and I get him, and so that will score me 3 points because the word is 3 letters long. Now, if there was a T here, for example, and I place the H, I would still get the words. This is not like Scrabble, where every time you put a letter down, it must form a word next to everything you go. Essentially, you're getting words for wherever you put things out. So, for example, if I put N here, I'm going to get points. I'm not going to get any points because it's 2 letters, but it is a word. And then once I put this out, I've made 2 words. Sun. Well, actually, I've only made 1 word. Sun, and I get 3 points. But I could add an H here because I'm trying to make a word in a different direction. It doesn't really matter. Now, what you're trying to do, if possible, is when you're playing these, is to make words that are all the same color. Here, if I make a word that's all the same color, I get a bonus of 5 points. But even better than that, this gets me 3 points for 10. And 3 points for net, N-E-T, and then 5 points for yellow. So this is worth 11 points. That's a really good word. And so you're trying to get things like that, so the colors do matter as the game progresses. And there's also Q-U and other letters, that the K and the V, because we all know V's are great letters. And when you put these letters out, it can give you a triple word. So if I put Q-U here and T, well, that's 1, 2, 3 letters, but it's triple, so it's 9. And if I happen to put it next to the green I, then it would all be green, so that would be a triple word. 3 plus 5 is 8, times 3 is 24. So this is how you play the game. You're going to keep doing this, and you're going to draw. Now, there are other chips in the game that you can get, like steel, where you can take a letter off the board or from another player and use it. Move. I can move a letter on the board to another spot. Play 2. Switch letters. A wild, which lets you do any of the different chips. So those are in the game. But essentially the game is you play a tile and then you draw back up to 3. And you keep going till you reach either a predetermined number of score or till you've used all the chips in the bag. There's also a version of the game where players will hand out the chips to everybody equally, and they'll put them all in front of them, and then you say go, you turn over a chip, and you're just trying to put things on the board as fast as you can. And this time you have to make a word every time you put a chip out, and if you can't make a word, then you're done, and the last person who's still playing, or the first person to get rid of all their chips, is the winner. It's more like a speed version of Scrabble. I don't really like the speed game of this. It's too hard to keep track of what everyone else is doing. Yes, the rules of things for challenging, and then the game screeches to a halt as everybody's looking at the challenge while secretly looking at their own letter that they have so they can figure out where to put it on the board. So let's take a look at the basic game. It's good, and there's good and bad things about it. It's good the fact that you don't have to worry about making a word with every letter you put out. You can put out part of a word and then form a word later on. But still, the game is going to reward those who have better word knowledge than other people. And then there's the color color aspect of it, and you only have 3 tiles. I think it'd be better if you had more of them. And then there's the special tiles, which can be really powerful if the right person gets it at the right point in time. The components are decent, but actually, before I go any farther, what did you think?
It was an okay game because I'm not that good with words. And
that's no excuse. You should work on that.
I am. But I just didn't have fun playing it because I'm like, there's too many vowels out on the board in the beginning, so it was really hard to try to put out a word. Because it's like those.
Yeah, I was confused as to why it was necessary to put out tons of vowels at the beginning. And that drawback, and the rules weren't written that well. They could have been much clearer, I think.
I also agree with my dad with the only 3 letters. It would have been a little easier with more letters to make better words.
Yeah, there were times where you just kind of just sitting there going, all right, fine. I mean, the game says you have to play a letter, so you stick one out somewhere, but you would feel better getting points. I love the fact that the game comes with these 400-point counters, as if anyone's going to play the game that long. Well, maybe someone will, but I can see people playing this game, and I would certainly play this before I play Scrabble, but I hate Scrabble, so that's not a fair comparison. It's not a terrible game. There's some interesting ideas in it. I just don't see that it provides anything that interesting except for the whole reverse thing where you can read words forwards and backwards. And if you make, the word, I don't know, net backwards is 10. That's the first one that comes to mind. Or if you make Bob backwards, it's still Bob. Woohoo! All right, so for me, it's kind of not a horrible game, but certainly not one I'd recommend. And you don't like it. You giving it a thumbs down? Thumbs down for Melody. That's a way with words.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find the latest board game news at Dicetowernews.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Fun Again Games, the world's best game source. Fun Again Games has over 5,000 games available. Check them out at funagain.com.
Shut the door.